Welcome to Stunwatch. This is my movie review for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And if you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button and click on that bell so you can notify for future videos. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And yes, after checking out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem at the theaters opening weekend, I gotta say, this movie was pretty damn good. Director Jeff Rowe and Seth Rogen and crew did a fantastic job on this thing. I mean, I was entertained from the time it started to the time it ended. Now, we had a runtime of 100 minutes. And I thought the pacing was actually pretty decent. I mean, I didn't think it really dragged anywhere. They didn't really repeat something over and over again. And man, it was, even though it did kind of still feel like the Spider-Verse, but I was so glad that there was no multiverse whatsoever. I mean, there were some flashbacks and stuff like that that kind of fill you in on the story and where we're at and whatnot with this iteration of the Turtles, but there was no multiverse. There was no other copies and all this other crap that's been going on with the movies lately. I mean, that was, in that respect, as far as I'm concerned, was refreshing. You know what I mean? I mean, it was just a straight up origin story of the Turtles, and we kind of got to see them from a different point of view that we haven't seen before, even though that the information on this thing said that they were trying to focus on the teenage part of the Turtles like they haven't done before. And I kind of disagree with that because I could have sworn that's how they kind of really treated them back in the movies in the 90s, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. I mean, this movie, it had Easter eggs throughout the whole thing, and I'm pretty damn sure I didn't see them all. Now, I chose to do my review first before going through and watching all the what you missed in the videos that are all over on YouTube. I want to do my review first of what I actually saw at the theater, and then I'll go back and I'll go do the deep dive and check it all out, because according to the research getting ready for this video, there's already a sequel and a TV series in the works. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is a 2023 American computer animated superhero film directed by Jeff Rowe. From a screenplay he co-wrote with Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, Dan Hernandez, and Benji Samit. It is the 7th theatrical Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film and a reboot of the series. In the film, after years of being sheltered from the human world, the Turtles set out to be accepted as normal teenagers through acts of heroism. The brothers go out on a hunt for a mysterious crime syndicate, but trouble arises when the army of mutants is leashed upon them. Nickelodeon announced Mutant Mayhem in June 2020, with Rogen, Goldberg, and James Weaver producing under their Point Grey Pictures banner, with Rowe as a director and Kyler Spears joined as co-director soon after. The animation was provided by Macross Animation in Montreal and Paris, along with Synsight in Vancouver, and was primarily influenced by high school notebook sketches, seeking to explore the teenage aspect of the Turtles. The filmmakers drew inspiration from teenage coming-of-age films. Majority of the cast was announced in March of 2023. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross composed the musical score. Mutant Mayhem was screened as work in progress at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival on June 12th of 2023 and was released by Paramount Pictures in the United States on August 2nd of 2023. It has received positive reviews from the critics and fans, with praise for its vocal performances, script, stylized animation. Several critics named it the best Turtles film. A sequel and spin-off television series for Paramount Plus are both in development. The film stars the voices of Micah Abbey, Shannon Brown Jr., Nicholas Cantu, Bradley Noon, Hannibal Buress, Rose Byrne, John Cena, Jackie Chan, Ice Cube, Natasha Demetrio, Adio Adebari, Giancarlo Esposito, Post Malone, Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd, and Maya Rudolph, just to name a few. Coming out of opening weekend, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is hit with a Rotten Tomato score of 96%, with 170 top critics reporting it. Now, the general consensus of those critics is this: with its unique visual style and story that captures the essence of the franchise appeal, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is an animated treat for the whole family. Now, I have to agree with that. Now, there was a lot of fight scenes in this movie, but it wasn't like blood squirting everywhere or anything else like that, you know what I mean? And the one thing I thought was really cool, when Splinter finally got to actually throw down and start taking out bad guys, the whole fight scene was choreographed like if if it actually was Jackie Chan doing it. You know what I'm saying? If you ever seen any of Jackie Chan's movies from back in the day and what have you, you watch that scene again, it's like it's a fight scene straight out of one of his movies. I would be surprised if we find out in some breakdown video somewhere that that's where exactly they got the choreographing for that fight scene. Now, if you know what I'm saying? I mean, because when I saw that, I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm like, man, I know I've seen this before. I mean, that fight scene happened a lot in a lot of Jackie Chan's movies, but I thought when that was going on, I'm going, man, that is so cool how they did that. You know what I mean? Over on the audience side, it's sitting with a score of 93% with 500 plus fans telling you what they think. Now, the fans and the critics are both loving this movie. And if you look at the box office, it's kind of reflecting that a little bit. Now, they did not manage to take the #1 spot for this weekend. Barbie holds on to it for the third week in a row. I mean, that movie's on a tear. That thing's going to make $1 billion. You wait and see. Now, with a budget of $70 million, Mutant Mayhem brings it an estimated domestic opening weekend of $28 million. Now, if you add in the Wednesday and Thursday early screenings along with the international box office, it's now sitting with a total of $51.5 million its opening weekend, if you include those other 2 days. Now, that's pretty good because they almost paid back its production budget. Now, we'll have to wait and see how it performs in week 2 to see if this thing has any legs and can actually really get anywhere. Now, it doesn't really have any competition as far as like family movies coming out here in the next couple weeks. I mean, for the most part, it's just nothing but horror movies, and you know, we got Blue Beetle coming out in a couple weeks, but that's like a couple weeks from now. So I don't think it really has any competition it's got to really worry about, at least in the family movie market. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. I mean, this movie was awesome. I probably would like to see it again to see if I can actually catch any of the Easter eggs that I missed the first time around, you know, after obviously watching some of the breakdowns that you know what to look for. I mean, again, I thought that fight scene was awesome, and I thought it was pretty hilarious when they got in the one car and we got the Go Ninja song from Vanilla Ice from the 90s from back in the day. I thought that was hilarious. That was an awesome Easter egg. I'm like, unless you saw those movies, you wouldn't really know what that was for. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, and I liked how they brought all that other stuff in this also. And then they added more stuff to how they wanted to go to high school really bad, and then they all had cell phones, so you know it's kind of like taking around this time. So it's like, this was an awesome movie to watch. Now, I mean, my kids are all grown up, so I don't know how they react. Now, I have a friend at work. He was with his family last night seeing this movie, and he said there wasn't really like a whole lot of people in the theater. Now you look at the box office of $28 million, it kind of shows that. Now hopefully this thing's got some legs and it'll actually make some money, and like they already got a sequel and a series planned, so hopefully the box office is going to like justify those plans, you know, because just like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan till you get socked in the mouth, you know what I'm saying? So we'll have to wait and see how this thing goes later on down the road to see if those things actually happen. I do also want to mention that there was a credit scene for this movie, and it kind of helps set up the possible sequel that we're going to get as long as this thing does well at the box office. I thought that was interesting in how they're going to bring in Shredder instead of him being like a longtime enemy to Splinter's former owner / master or something like that, like we saw back in the 90s. He's like a hired gun. So that's like a different take on how it was, you know, especially like with all the like in the cartoon in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of interesting, and I can't wait to see how that all plays out. Hopefully it does play out, because, you know, if this movie bombs at the box office, you ain't gonna see it. But I don't know, it's pretty much well on its way. So I think we have a good bet we're gonna actually see that movie actually happen. So at the end of the day, I gotta say, I like this movie. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I don't know where I rank it with all the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies that are out there. I didn't see the animated movie from 2007, so I can't really see if that movie was bad or good one way or the other. I mean, I didn't see it. So now as far as like the live action movies go, with this one, I don't know, I kind of like the Bay movies, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the second one was kind of like not as good as the first one, but I like the Bay one. I thought the first one was pretty damn good as far as I'm concerned. Now, the movies from the 90s, they were a product of the time. You know what I mean? They did what they could. They didn't have computer generated stuff, so that's why when we got the Bay movies, it was like, oh my God, they didn't have to rely on people in actual suits for the first time. So, I don't know. I did have a lot of fun with this movie. I mean, as far as like, I don't know, maybe once I see it again, I can actually really rank it with all the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. And to be quite honest with you, I haven't seen the ones from the 90s probably since the 90s, so I can't really say anything about them either. Though I do remember them talking about cigarettes. Again, a product of the time. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Overall, this movie was a lot of fun. I Can't wait to see it again. Well, if I see it in the theaters, we'll have to wait and see, because there's other movies coming out here. There was a couple movies that came out this weekend that I didn't get to see because I saw this one instead. But hopefully it makes them more money, right? So, did you get a chance to go out and check Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem in the theaters? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? You think the movie was any good? Let me know in the comments down below. And how does it rank with you with all the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, I got to see it again before I can actually rank it. So, let me think in the comments down below.